Come back and give y'all that gizane. Let me get a little closer. Yo, what's up? In my chat. Solar Mike, what it do? What up? Well, hey, when I see Ernest come in the building, that's Ernest gonna be that's my cue to start. Appreciate it. Man, what up? Wait for these notifications to go out. Psych L, what's good? Hey Gail, what's happening? Alright, so yesterday I did this video real fast on Dred Scott, right? And oh yeah, come on man. April 15th is one of our deadlines, but definitely give me a call, let me know, because we about to get ready to go shopping. One of our properties is be done this month here, so we be going on the market late April because we want the season to change and officially be springtime and flowers booming and the prices go up. So we got a list because I'm definitely over budget on that project. But yeah, definitely get with me, man, for sure. So real fast, yesterday I made this quick video on this Dred Scott thing, right? And if you go towards the end, I was looking for a person's name that was convicted for slave trading real fast. Now let me back up a little bit because I know some people may be like, hey man, this is hip hop astrology, right? And you're going all the way over here to the Civil War. All this stuff is relative. It's all relative. At least in my mind, it's relative. Because one, you're dealing with the Aquarian age. In fact, go to myzodiacshirts.com. If you want you a hoodie or a t-shirt, myzodiacshirts.com is where you can go to. All right? So we're dealing with the age of Aquarius, which is information, which is freedom. This is the age of freedom. Okay? And it's very interesting because some people, when they do their measurements, they think we in the age of Pisces based off what they see with the naked eye. Which is totally false because Pisces is actually the age that deals with confinement. And you ain't confined no more. And Aquarius deals with technology. You're not be damned if technology ain't advancing. So we definitely in the age of Aquarius. And so this whole thing of black folks and freedom, we got to understand the Aquarian age that we in, and then it took Aquarius, Abe Lincoln, to come through and be the catalyst for this great thing to occur. So it's relative to me, okay? Because I understand. So you got to remember that the stars in the flag, if we're going to say stars, astrology, spiritual, then there's a spiritual dimension that must deal with the physical dimension of government. So in Washington, D.C., Little Egypt, then you're going to see the obelisk called the Washington Monument that's going to be pointing up to the stars, right? So this is a well-known phenomenon. And so the spiritual science has to have a tie into the political science. This is why all political people, what up, Ernest? Now I'm ready to start when Ernest get here. I told y'all. So the political people always have to swear in on a spiritual text. So you have to understand that politics is really relative to spirituality, for real. All right, now with that said, the premise yesterday on the Dred Scott thing was, hey, don't let those kind of, don't let that history deter you from understanding a greater power is at work for our freedom and our liberty and our pursuit of happiness and our prosperity, okay? Because oftentimes what happens is people will start posting the Dred Scott stuff as if you look at the dirty United States. We ain't gonna never be, happy and prosperous because they said that Dred Scott and black people can't even be citizens. Where the truth of the matter is something must have happened called the 13th Amendment where you are a citizen today. And so a lot of people get stuck from slavery is a very emotional topic. And so when you get emotional, you start coming from a place we call the limbic brain, which is a real thing, limbic, the limbic brain, that's responsible for producing chemicals. This is the part of the subconscious mind that deals with sleep regulation. It deals with hunger. It deals with saliva production. You don't consciously tell yourself to blink your eye and put water in your eye. You don't do that. But your memory is stored in the same region of the brain. So the moment that I go here and start picking on the pain called slavery or trauma, that memory, since it's in the subconscious region of the brain that deals with emotion, is going to trigger the glands right next to it to produce a chemical. And then you're going to be like, oh, you're going to start screaming and hollering and doing all kinds of stuff emotional. And it has nothing to do with your conscious control of your brain, which is the frontal lobe. So anyway, and so I showed how in 1820 there was this thing passed by the United States government called the Piracy Act. The Piracy Act in 1820 says, listen, man, it ain't going to be no slaves on these waters. We better not catch it. In fact, we're going to dedicate a whole squadron called African Squadron to patrol the west coast of Africa and the coast of Brazil, because we know this is where the African slave trade is the heaviest. Okay, so the United States got boats on the ocean that's making sure that ain't nobody gonna have no slaves. Well, it's this guy named Nathaniel Gordon, because remember yesterday I couldn't find his name real fast. So I want y'all, you can listen, open up another screen right now, put in Nathaniel Gordon slave trade and watch what happened. He's the only person that was killed for and persecuted or prosecuted for having slaves. So Nathaniel Gordon comes out of Maine. He got this boat, and this dude said, listen, I'm about to jump in this slave trade. So he goes off to the west coast of Africa. He gets like 800 something slaves, and over 600 of them are children. So United States boat roll up on them, take the slaves and take them to, I want to say Freetown, Liberia, or Freetown, Sierra Leone. Because at that time, as early as the 1800s, man, you had abolitionists that was up in Britain, in England, that was like, man, this slave thing is messed up. We about to set up shop down in Africa and Sierra Leone and call it Freetown. And the same thing with Liberia. And any black folks, you want to get up out this slavery situation and you get free, you need to go on back home down to Africa and to these two right here. That's on the record book, okay? And so they take all the slaves and let them go. This is the United States government that's doing this. Nobody's talking about this, man. And so let them go. They arrest dude. Dude's in jail for a long time. And I want y'all to go to the page, again, Nathaniel Gordon, slave trade, and go see what Abraham Lincoln said about this dude. Abraham Lincoln, because he was trying to get a pardon from Abe to let him go. And Abe was like, man, listen, man, I'm a fair man. I can think about anything. My mind can contrive just about anything. But to rob Africa of her children, I cannot forgive that. This is Abraham Lincoln saying this. And so, nope, sorry, sir. We're going to hang you to death. And they hung Nathaniel Gordon to his death for having slaves by violating the piracy law. Okay? Now, granted, it was only one person. But that has to mean something. It has to. Because a lot of people who are, again, these people who would raise this argument are emotionally traumatized. But to raise the argument and say, well, they had to kill just one person to make it look like we was making progress, brother. You hear stupid shit like that. That's really stupid. Okay, I just got to call it for what it is. It's stupid. Because you don't have to do anything. Black folks at that time were still in slavery. So you don't have to act like just one person getting convicted is going to be justified as if we're getting somewhere and making progress in life. Fuck out of here with that. It don't even add up, because you have to understand that we always raise the question, then why kill each other? If it's a master plan to destroy you, there's a master plan, to from South slave to go up north, industrialization. If it's a master plan, why did they die by the hundreds of thousands? Why agree to kill each other? It don't make sense. It's no master plan. And when people trying to downplay what happened, called the Civil War, called how we actually got our freedom, they're mentally sick. I just gotta say it. And I'm very serious about this. This ain't no joke. The crazy part about it is they don't know it. That's the most baffling piece of the whole puzzle. They don't know that they're mentally ill. And so I just want to come and show you that I never seen nobody show me the history of Nathaniel Gordon and Abraham Lincoln making such a strong statement, so strong, to rob Africa of her children. Nah, that's wrong, man. I can't pardon you. You're going to die. And hung the man. And then, like I said, when I start looking in Lincoln's, you start looking at the power moves that was happening, like, man, boy, oh boy. Nah, There was something else going on. And it was a takeover. It was a complete takeover. And that's what it's supposed to be when you in this age right here. When you in this age, because Aquarius is the revolution. Uranus, revolution, change, upheaval. Right? So I keep telling people, you're going to see Bob Marley, perfect with the Aquarian energy look like. I mean, perfection. That's Bob Marley. Huey P. Newton was another one. Huey was so cold, he started studying law. Oh, we got a right to bear arms? Okay. In plain view? Okay, cool. Let's go to the State House. And totally disrupted the California State House while Reagan was speaking, right? Walking that thing with shotguns in here. Ain't breaking no law. That was like some of the most iconic revolutionary stuff that you ever saw. And it's very interesting in that era because they didn't kill Huey. Not at this height. They didn't kill Huey. They didn't kill Huey in the struggle. Huey died after the Panthers had already fizzed out. And you had some people that got shot. Little Bobby, rest in peace. You had some people that got that work put in on them by cops. But you got to understand the power structure that Bobby Seale is still alive today. You know what I'm saying? Freaking, Huey P. Newton, like, you didn't kill them because, again, there's always been two forces inside of government that is dealing with power of the people and freedom and truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give y'all that real fast, man. Nathaniel Gordon, look into that history, African Squadron. You know what I mean? Deep, beautiful history that's there. Again, I'm making a documentary that's going to be outlining physical timeline of what actually happened. You know what I mean? And you're not going to hear. I just never heard nobody tell the story from the winning perspective. We always tell it from the losing angle. We messed up. The United States did it. And when you really look into you peel the layer of the onion back, it's not the United States, man. The United States is the only flag that came and got black folks out the situation. There's no disrespect to the RBG, but it wasn't no red, black, and green that came and got us up out of slavery. There wasn't no African nation that interceded on our behalf that came and said slavery is wrong. The Moorish Empire from Morocco, I'm talking about overseas. I'm talking about the whatever. No world government, Spain, nobody came in and invaded the United States of America off the issue of slavery and stopped it. Nobody. And nobody is talking about the Native Americans who also had slaves, especially the Choctaw and the Chickasaw, Cherokee too. Cherokee was horrible. They had slaves, black slaves, and was treating slaves so bad they had to form a new treaty around 1865, 1866, right after Lincoln died and the Emancipation and everything, 13th Amendment and everything happened, and they had to kind of be forced to, hey, slavery's over, because they own their own reservation. And nobody's talking about that. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's talking about white folks were slaves too. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's talking about rewinding it before that, if you even get into karma. that the black folks had white boys as slaves. So everybody was enslaving everybody. You know what I mean? And you ain't supposed to do that to nobody. You know what I mean? So once we, as a collective humanity on this soil, the United States of America, understand that, then we could be straight. Because, Bernie Sanders said something interesting on the Breakfast Club about reparations. Like, if you open up the can of reparations, like, let's be real. Do the Native Americans get reparations? Because they got their ass mopped, got handed to them. But I'm going to say this about the Native Americans, man. I'm salty with them a little bit because you stood by. Didn't know Native Americans, the Chickasaw, the Shawnee from up north, didn't none of them come on the record and be like, oh, having African slave trade, white man is wrong. Kill the white man. Come on, Africans, get free. They didn't do that, man. They did not do that. Yeah, some blacks got free from South Carolina and end up going down south and kicking it with the Seminole, and then the Seminole were receptive to that. But these not the same people. These are absolutely not the same people. And I know this for a fact simply because when you look into when you look into personal memoirs, see, I ain't reading no history books. I'm talking about the personal memoirs of what's going on, first-hand accounts from war generals. Like, they're making a distinction that these people are not the same. You understand what I'm saying? So since these people are not the same, man, there's some stuff. So anyway, if the Native Americans, they get that ass handed to them, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the record why they get their ass handed to them for the white men, because they sat around and watched black folks be slaves and didn't do nothing about it. So to me, you deserve to get your lamb and get mopped, because how you gonna see it? And not only did you not do nothing about it, you actually participated in it. Hence, it was called the 5 civilized tribes, right? And so now they say the Yamasee was black and was attacking. But here's my thing. I'm talking about launching an offensive attack. I ain't talking about playing defense because the white man came in and he took your land and now you about to start a defensive thing. No. I'm talking about an offensive attack where the white man is minding his business, and then your Yamasee and everybody else say, yo, we about to ride on these niggas tonight. We about to go do our thing. Cause this slavery thing, this ain't happening. This is messed up. We ain't doing that. You understand what I'm saying? That don't exist, man. Everybody against the United States of America, especially the Native Americans, they're playing defense for the most part. Nobody made an offensive attack with the intention on freeing black folks out of slavery as a nation. Nobody made that attack, okay? And so, but nevertheless, let me back up some. Native Americans get pushed off. But when you start understanding how to win the Civil War, which was territory, right? And slaves ain't allowed north of the Ohio River. And then if any people who have already colonized Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, and all points west from the 13 colonies, then we're going to need this to be, we're going to have to get rid of the Native Americans and push them out. And later, these people, these citizens, are going to come into the Union Army to help free black folks. So this shit is chess. Native Americans, y'all pawns in the game. Get off the land, let us expand it. And as we expand it, we ultimately will do away with slave states and have more free states up in this joint, go to Civil War, and win this whole thing. You understand what I'm saying? So, but do they have a claim? Absolutely. Native Americans should have a claim, right? But black folks got a claim? Absolutely, black folks have a claim. Do white folks have a claim? Because they were slaves. And black folks had black slaves too. Like, it's a whole, like, come on, man. You got to stop playing around with this thing. You see what I'm saying? And so we got to be able to present the information in a factual, structural, timeline way of what happened. Because I'm not saying that the United States is 100% clean on this. Oh, no. You dropped the ball several times, and you dropped it on purpose. And I talked about it yesterday in the Dred Scott case thing. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. I can't say who the first slave owner was, but they dropped the ball several times for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. But I mean, it just amazes me again because the country is so thick, right? That in order for Lincoln to get a second term, his vice president had to be a slaveholder from Tennessee. Like, look how thick that tension was. You know what I'm saying? Look at the strategy that had to be in play here to ultimately make it work. Called Blacks Ain't Slaves No More, where you say, all right, man, we're going to all right, Southern Democrat, you can come on in as the vice president, but you ain't going to run shit, right? But we'll run this thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was a takeover that happened. And in the midst of that takeover, man, we always get some pushback that's still taking place to this day. There's pushbacks that happen. So we just need to be able to identify what side you're on. And that's all it's about. Hey, man, Harriet Tubman, everybody respect Harriet Tubman. They love Harriet Tubman. But here's the thing they did never tell you about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was a Union soldier. Harriet Tubman got paid from the United States government, the Union. She was a spy for the Union. She rode with Colonel James Montgomery from Ohio. Colonel James Montgomery, before the Civil War, went to Bleeding, Kansas, that I told y'all about yesterday. He went to Bleeding, Kansas, and he set up his own militia in Kansas because of the 1854 Kansas-Nebraska Act. They wanted to have slaves in Kansas and Nebraska, which was technically illegal according to the federal government. He formed his own company, military company, giving white boys rifles and shit, and said, all right, who the people that want slaves over here in Kansas? And then they start busting, and they going so hard from 1854 all the way to the start of the Civil War, okay, that this is Bleeding, Kansas. So Bleeding, Kansas morphs into the Civil War from 1854, started the Civil War 1861. But you might as well say shit, the start of the Civil War ain't 1861, the Battle of Fort Sumter, is really Bleeding, Kansas. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it happened. You see what I'm saying? But this Colonel James Montgomery, when the Civil War start, he later links up with Harriet Tubman. So he's giving Harriet Tubman the rifles and the pistols and everything, and together they're rolling down the rivers and getting the slaves free. You understand what I'm saying? Colonel James Montgomery. All right? You know what I mean? So y'all look into that. Harriet Tubman, Union soldier. You know what I mean? So if your ancestor Harriet Tubman at that time of slavery, I just gotta ask, like, what side you gonna pick? Because you can have black Confederates, believe it or not. There's a black Confederate that got popular views on YouTube. H.K. Egerton, he's a black Confederate. When in 2000 was at 15 with Bree Newsom in South Carolina scaled the pole and took down the Confederate flag. It was because it was an issue in South Carolina. And you had that black dude saluting the flag. That was H.K. Egerton, man. Like, he loves the Confederate. He loved down south. He think the Northern did them dirty. The North didn't have no manners. They came and they burned stuff. They did horrible things to the women and burned the civilian houses. And that's true. That's very true. But I just can't see, like, in that time, if I'm there, like, you imagine, like, you a slave, right? And you're going to fight with the Confederates? Man, you crazy. You out your rabbit mind. I'm going with Harriet would have shot you. And I'm just saying, you got a right to pick what you want to pick, but ain't no way in hell I would have been representing the Dixie flag. That ain't happening, Jack. I'm definitely riding with the Union. You know what I mean? And so this is real life history. You know what I'm saying? Civil War files, man. And we just got to learn that quick timeline and the chain of events what happened, because at the end of the day, there is a great power that is on the side for humanity. You know what I'm saying? It is on the side for humanity, straight up. And it's not about the color. You missed that point. Niggas killed Malcolm X. Like, it ain't about color. Spirit don't know no color, man. You gotta ask yourself, what jumped inside of white folks up north that said, all right, man, I'll fight for this cause. And don't let nobody trick you that it was not about no slave issue. That's bullcrap. It is clear. South Carolina knew that Abraham Lincoln was having these debates prior to his election in 1860. Abraham Lincoln was on the record in 1858 in public debates. He was on the record before that talking about his views, but in public debates against one person, Stephen Douglas. They have about 7 debates in Illinois. In all of 1858 going at it for the 1858 election, Lincoln loses it. 1860 come, he wins. They're like, oh man, he was tearing Douglas' ass up. Let's put him in as the first Republican. And I'm not making, listen, if you go look at the history of presidents, and that's why I be, salute to home turf, Ohio, because when you go look at what happened and how it happened, like after Lincoln, obviously Andrew Johnson came in from Tennessee because he's a vice president. He got to get that post. Your next 10 Republican nominations for president that they want, I swear to God, go like this: Ohio, 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 Ohio. Then I think it was Maine that came in because that president he died in office. So then the vice president came in at number 5. Then it was Ohio, Ohio, Ohio again, I believe. And then Teddy Roosevelt came in, and he's from New York. But Teddy Roosevelt was a vice president. He became president because his president died in office. And then Ohio again. So out of your first 10 nominations after Abe is dead, 8 of them come from Ohio. This is a fact. All right, home turf for me. And I just look at the spirit of what's happening, like, damn, why do I feel it like that in my spirit to be able to bring that you see, you got to remember this stuff like North Star. We had to follow the North Star to get free. Like that's what happened. They followed the North Star to get free. That's celestial navigation. It's hip hop astrology. So I'm just giving it to you in a hip way, in a sense, right? So it's still, I gotta say that because people be like, oh, this dude be everywhere. Speed up, man. Speed up. You know what I'm saying? Your brain too slow, man. Speed up. You know what I'm saying? But just giving y'all this, man. So y'all got a quick question on anything? Because I got to go post a video that I made. I got this class, you know what I mean? Yep, I did it. That's what I'm about to go post. I did Tina Turner right before I jumped on here and did this video. So y'all about to see, I'm going to upload that. You know what I mean? As Jew calling me, yeah, I'm gonna upload the Tina Turner joint. That's going to be awesome to see real fast. Tina Turner was born with Mars square the sun. That's a problem. That's an internal problem with males in your life. And I ain't looking at your man. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you first. I should be able to see your experiences just by looking at you. Why I gotta go look at him? I can just look at you and tell you what you experienced, right? So that's about to go up as soon as I get off this video. Go down to the office, uploading, and that's gonna be popping, man. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Whatever spirit moves me to do, that's what I'll do. But I don't know when I'm gonna go live again on the astrology portion. But if you got a question on something, man, you can shoot it right now. I'll answer it for you. It's all good. Nathaniel Gordon got that work put in on me. Off with your head, buddy. If you got a question, shoot it to me real fast. I'll answer it. All right, so my moon is in the 11th house. I'm a Scorpio. What does that mean for me? All right, so I don't know what but what sign is your moon in, right? But the moon in the 11th house would be the moon in the 11th house would deal with strong emotional connections with friends and group of people. Possibly a woman could be your friend. Should absolutely be your friend, for sure. Also, it'll deal with your emotional connection to technologies. You know what I mean? So you actually can be one of those people that find female love off the computer. It's old school computer love type of thing. That's possible. But in a nutshell, it's really dealing with groups of people. And then also having an emotional, sensitive connection to humanity. Because the 11th house is the house of everybody, the world at large, and how they're doing as a people and as a species. So that would give you a strong, it's the Aquarian house. You know what I'm saying? The 11th house is Aquarius. And so then you would have a strong sense of, strong connection to the um, to that principle. Your mom, because the moon can be mommy, so then your mom could be a source of your friend as well. You know what I mean? But I definitely see it as something dealing with women and your ability to connect to the higher purpose of humanity. You know what I mean? All right. All right. The meaning of 369, man, I would say get you a Kabbalistic encyclopedia. Get you a Kabbalistic encyclopedia. I didn't beat the cover off this bad boy. It gives you, it's an encyclopedia. The back is pretty much an encyclopedia of numbers, right? So that's interesting. 369 is the magic sum of the magic square for the moon. And then it gives you a couple angels' names and whatnot. But 369 in essence is the number that deals with the moon. All right. But you can get Godwin's Kabbalistic Encyclopedia, and it will give you a great alternatives to numbers, man. Far as, you know, it could have meant David. So if you see 369 and it was like David, or let's just say 369, the spirit of the moon, and then you also happen to ask about the moon, then you really need to channel that moon energy, that feminine energy, and make that work in your power if you're seeing 369 or it has some type of relevance in your life and whatnot. All right? Because 369 is really the angel that deals with the moon. All right? Sarah, I'm having the 11th house season right now. My friends are essential. Yeah. 11th house, man, is the dope. Aquarius. Freedom, friends, technology, humanitarian thing. All right? And give me one more before we go. I'll take one more. You got something? Anything on the astro or whatever? All right, you say I didn't cover any of the Jupiter, Venus, Saturn lineup over the past. No, man, I've been busy putting in the work. So I didn't cover it, but if you're inside my inner circle, then they got instructions on what to do dealing with the Venus Jupiter alignment. You know what I'm saying? And so we did that. Far as there was a certain meditation and visualization technique to do. So sometimes, like I'm not that one that's gonna come on here and all of the, tonight's the full moon, because I'll be on here every 2 weeks dealing with the moon, and I got a theory that the moon moves so fast, and if you're trying to follow it, you're gonna drive yourself, you're gonna become a lunatic. That's why it's lunar. You know what I mean? You're gonna become a lunatic doing that, because you know what I mean, like. Every 2 weeks, the phase it's the full moon. 2 weeks later, it's the new moon. But shit, we just had the new moon in Pisces. So in 2 weeks, we about to have the full moon in Virgo, and then 2 weeks, all the new moons in the Aries. Like, did you even really get into what you did 2 weeks ago? All right, I was saying if you follow the moon like that, 2 weeks, we just had Pisces new moon. So let's just say Pisces new moon. Great time to use your imagination. Great time to really get into some clairvoyant stuff, right? Then 2 weeks later, it's going to be the full moon in Virgo. So then, I got to deal with my health. Then 2 weeks later, it's going to be the new moon in Aries. I need to start taking leadership for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be jumping around. You're going to be a lunatic. You know what I mean? And so, me personally, I only rock with the moon where it's on something that I have a desire, my intention is there. So let's just say hypothetically, I'm super duper focused on finances. So then I need to pay attention to when the full moon or the new moon is going to occur inside of my money house, the second house. You see what I'm saying? Or I'll wait till the moon phase is close to my Jupiter. which is once a year. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to be jumping around every damn 2 weeks. That's crazy. You know what I mean? For me, if it works for people, hey, go ahead, do you. But to me, it's too cheesy and it waters it down. It keeps polluting it. You see what I'm saying? And so I like to work on main themes to keep you focused on a longer period of time. This is why Saturn is the great gatekeeper. You can't see past Saturn with the naked eye, right? So Saturn is the one that's about discipline and longevity. And that's the main thing that we lack, is especially black folks. Discipline and longevity and time. You know what I mean? And so we need to stay a little bit more focused. But to answer that, I ain't do nothing on it on video, but the in-house team got something. You know what I mean? So sometimes when I say join our memberships, and then if you see us do something, a lottery challenge or something like that, when that alignment happens, like I just may send out a private email to somebody that was in the class that was particularly doing that, and you know what I mean? And the public don't even know, but the people that's in the team, you know what I mean? They get it, you know what I mean? That's what a priesthood is, man. It's a secret order, man. You're welcome to join. You know what I mean? For sure, man. I appreciate you coming in. Absolutely. All right. Can I put in here the site that is going to appear on? What site? Yeah. What site that is going to appear on? Boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? What site? What site? What site is it going to appear on? All right. So again, man, thank you for joining. I just wanted to share that with y'all real fast. I'm gonna go downstairs right now and put that Tina Turner video together, so it'll be coming right here, man. Thank you for subscribing. How do you determine your 21 days of money? Good question. If 21 days, man, depends. It depends. It depends. But I'll give you a good one. I will wait for the new moon to occur in my second house. And when the new moon occurs in your second house, now you have, from your perspective on Earth, you have a growing moon. A moon where in 2 days, you're going to see the silver crescent on the right side. And then every day, for the next 14 days, the moon appears to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But the moon is only in the house for about 2.5 days on average. So the new moon in the second house is just marking the beginning, because it may come at the end of the new house, at the end of the second house. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, it still occurred in your second house. So I would start personally when the new moon occurs in the second house, before the full moon occurs in my second house, because that will mean the growing phase of the moon, which is the waxing phase, will always be in my second house. And then when the full moon occurs in your second house for the next 6 months, what's going to happen is every time the moon comes through your money house, at that time, it's going to be a waning moon, which means the moon appears to be getting smaller. Okay? And the legend is supposed to be, hey, you grow with the growing moon, you discharge and push out and cleanse with the waning moon. Okay, and so I would, if I'm using the moon, I'm gonna do it that way. Or 21 days, I'm gonna do it that way when I know. And that's a 6-month window. You got to be able to know how to measure that. What side you on for 6 months? You see what I'm saying? And because if it's in the second house, and let's just say you can't occupy the second house right now because every time the moon go through there, it's in a phase that's waning and the moon keep getting smaller. Then that means on the opposite side, the 8th house, which is joint people's money, other people's money, is you and your lovers or you and your partners, it's y'all money together, then that means that growing moon is on the opposite side. So now for that 6 months, you can focus on that. You see what I'm saying? So when you know the moon science, it's really a half a year thing on one particular frequency, and then this balance point, the opposite side, is for half a year as well. All that every 2 weeks jumping around, you'd be a lunatic, man. That's why people don't see no results. And it don't work because they too scatterbrained. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. All right. All right, man. Got you, man. All right. So with that, man.